Hello friends, I am Mr. X and I welcome you to your channel Alpha Global. Before we start the video, we just would like to brief you that this video will be our second video, and the second video will be about filing of a FLA return online. The first video was about the registration process, which you can just subscribe to our channel. You can go through the details, and now it comes to filing of FLA return online. One good news which we would like to inform you is that the RBI has extended the FLA return filing date from July 15 to July 31st. Hence, the companies have time up to that period to file the return. Today we are only going to discuss about the main overview of how to file the return, and we are not going to get into too many technicalities or in terms of the numbers, what has to be exactly reported. Just quickly to summarize, there are 5 sections in FLA return, and the section you can just see that as soon as you log into the as soon as you get into the FLA return online portal after logging the using user ID and the password, you will see that you have an option of either to file for the FLA return for the previous years, or you can file for the current year, that is for 2019. So if you have in case not file any of the return for any of the previous years, in that case you need to select the relevant options for that year. If not, then the current year the screen will appear something like this. Please note that there are 5 sections: section 1, section 2, 3, 4, 5. You cannot get into other sections until and unless you have updated one section and the same is properly saved as a draft as well as validated. While saving a draft is not a must, but at least it would be advisable that you save the draft for every section and then click on validate section. If all the sections are properly validated, then only the system will allow you to get into the next section, that is section 2, 3, 4, or as the case may be. So let us quickly just run through the process of filing of the FLA return section by section. First, you will be seeing that section 1 return will be there. Section 1 return, this is for the purpose of filing 2019 return. Please note that there are certain parameters like the name of the Indian company, PAN number and SIN number, and these details which you can see, these are pre-filled information. This is coming from the place that once you had done the necessary registration and you had input these details, hence the same will be all auto populated, hence no action has to be done. Point number 4, that is contact details. The contact details will be of that of a person who may be an authorized person, and you can provide again the same name of the authorized person as well as his telephone number or mobile number as the case may be, whereas these are mandatory fields. You can see this. The email ID, here this email ID is that of a head of institution, so you may provide the any other director or any such other senior person, head of the institution, whom you can just provide the necessary email ID, so that an intimation may go to them in case you have a person other than an authorized person to whom you wish to communicate. Here will be the email of a contact person. This will be that of an authorized person or authorized representative who has been authorized to do the necessary filings on behalf of the company. Designation will be once again the same as the case may be from company to company. Websites, this is not mandatory field. However, if there is any websites, please update the same. Account closing date, account closing date will be that of as on 31st March. So if it is for 18-19, it will be 31st March 19. In case if it is for some other year, let's assume 31st March 18, if you are filing for earlier years, then it has to be the same. Please note that in case if a company is having a different account closing period, let's assume if it closes as on 31st December, then it is required to ensure that the return FLA return, it tries to collect the data in as on 31st March only, and it needs to file the information as on March 2018-19, or as the case may be. For the purpose of filing FLA return, the companies which have a different accounting period is required to align the information for the purpose of reporting on FLA as on 31st March only. The next is nature of business. If you see that the nature of the business here, it would be asking for NIC code 2008, whereas once you click on this tab, you will be able to view various fields, and you are supposed to select the correct appropriate nature of the business for your company, and you are supposed to select the same. The FLA return for NIC 2008, the code I'll be giving you the necessary link in my YouTube channel, and which you can just have a look at it, and you can just download the same, or you can view the necessary objects in that link. Whether the company is merged. If the company is merged during the year, let's assume for the purpose of 18, 19, if the company is merged anywhere during this period, or it has got amalgamated, in that case only you need to select as, otherwise it has to be no. Listed. If the company is on the stock exchange listed, if you're Indian company, you need to select as, otherwise it has to be no. Identification is nothing but it is in terms of whether the company has received any kind of the inward FDI. FDI is nothing but foreign direct investment. There are basically 2-3 categories of the companies. If you click on this cursor, we are not able to click on this cursor as this is a we are not able to log in for certain reasons. Hence we are showing you the screenshots and we are trying to explain you on the basis of what we have already done the filings sometime in the past. Now when you get into this identification of reporting company, then here you will be seeing 2-3 options like finance company, others, and one more option you should be able to see. So please select the relevant options. If it is a company which is not a finance company, and if it is like any other company which comes out of that category, please select the appropriate option. Whether the company is an asset management company, you need to select as yes if the company is asset management company. This is more is reference to in case of a mutual funds. If the company is having any asset management company, then you need to select yes, otherwise it's a no. Whether the company is having any technical collaboration, the term technical collaboration here is nothing but in case if the company has an Indian company has entered into any kind of the agreement with other companies where it is sharing technical knowledge, know-how, or there is any kind of the transfer of the knowledge between the two companies, which is one is an Indian company and one is an outside company, or any kind of the patent matters or that which is being agreed for the purpose of exchange. In that context, you need to select the option as yes, otherwise you need to select as no. Whether the company has any business activity, this once again depends upon whether your company is having any business or not. If yes, you need to select as, otherwise you proceed as no. Once you do this section, you have to save it, and once you click on the save it and click on the validate section, as soon as you click on the validate section, you'll be getting seeing the option that the validation is successful, and it will take you to section 2. In case if it is not for any reasons, if the validation is not successful, then you need to fix the issues, and then you need to proceed for section 2. Let's go to section 2. Okay, you can see in the section 2 FLA return, it asks about the paid up capital of the company. Please note that there are certain fields which are already auto populated, hence you are not supposed to fill anything information there. Only the fields which are not which allows you to fill will be the one which will be in the white color. You can see that under the total paid up capital, here you are supposed to give the total number of the shares. These columns here you are not going to disclose for 31st March 18, and here you are going to disclose on 31st March 19. You can see the cursors, and let's so here you will be disclosing only the total number of the shares and not the share capital. Whereas under this column, you can just see on the right side of my screen, here it says amount in INR lakh. It means that if let's assume if the share capital of your company is 1 lakh, then you are going to display the figure here as 1 only, so that it is automatically understood that 1, and here it has to be lakh, means it is a 1 lakh. If it is 10 lakh, please specify as 10 only. This is as on 31st March 19, and this is on 31st March 19. If the company is having any kind of the participating preference share capital, participating preference shares are those who have got the rights to any kind of the dividends or for any kind of the distribution, and they are called as participating preference shares, and non-participating is a vice versa. If that is the case, please disclose the relevant details. Next is non-resident holdings, point number 2. Here you need to select whether the Indian company for which you are going to report, whether the shareholders, whether they are the foreign, whether the persons are individuals, companies, foreign institutional investors, or as the such other names as the case may be. Please fill up the necessary information here as on 31st March 18 and 19. Please note that the information in these will be in terms of shares, and information in these fields, this fields may be allowed, will be in terms of share capital, that is in terms of the amount. So let's assume if you have got foreign individuals, then you need to select this option. If you have got body corporates, foreign body corporates, please select the option as the companies. If you have got such other kind of the category of the investors who are especially foreign investors, then you need to select the appropriate category based on the nature of the shareholding of your Indian company and held by the foreigners or such other persons. So the various options what you have available is individuals, companies, FIIs, FACIs, foreign trust, private equity, sovereign funds, partnership firms, NRIs, PIOs, financial institutions, as the case may be. Non-participating, if at all your company is having any such preference shareholders who are not participating um, in nature, in that case the necessary information needs to be disclosed. Please note that these fields are the non-resident equity and participating preference share capital may automatically be calculated based on the inputs what has been provided above. In case your company is having a multiple class of the equity share capitals, let's assume that's the equity class A and class B, then you need to merge the total figures together so that you can report one consolidated figure. Please note that here the definition is also provided. Non-participating preference share means those who receive the dividend, those who do not receive any kind of the dividend or surplus profits after paying the necessary dividend to the equity shareholders, and those who do not have any kind of the surplus assets remaining after the entire capital is being paid up in case of a winding up of a company. Let's go to point number 3, profit and loss account. Here you are going to disclose about the amount. Once again is going to be disclosed as on 31st March 18 as of 31st March 19. Please note that here the profit before tax and profit after tax has to be disclosed. You can refer to the audited financials or unaudited financials as the case may be, and you can just refer to the profit and loss statement. You will get to know about the profit before tax and profit after tax. And if at all the company has any kind of the dividend which has been distributed, it's an interim or final dividend, that is as on as on financial year 17-18, which will be like April 2017 to 31st March 18, the information has to be disclosed under this category. And if it is April 2018 to 31st March 2019, the information has to be disclosed under the second column. The tax on dividend, if any, has to be mentioned here. Tax on dividend is like whenever the dividend is being paid, there will be a dividend distribution tax which will be applicable under the Income Tax Act, and this is the tax which has been paid on such dividend that needs to be disclosed. Retained profit is once again is an auto calculated figure based on the inputs of 3.1 to 3.4. Reserves and surplus. Now this information you can select from your balance sheet. In the balance sheet you can see the reserves and surplus. Reserves and surplus, there is a option where you need to, under 4.1 column, you have to update the reserves, that is the total reserves which includes profit and loss account, and out of that you need to specify how much is your profit and loss account balance, and the net worth will be calculated accordingly. For example, let's assume your reserves and surplus is 100 and profit and loss which forms a part of that reserves and surplus is 20. So you will be disclosing in 4.1 as 100, which includes your profit and loss that is mentioned in 4.2, and in 4.2 you'll be mentioning it as 20. So your net worth will be a sum of your net worth will be basically auto calculated in this situation, and unless there is no accumulated losses, it will be a reserves and surplus and share capital as a net worth. Next is the sales and purchases, and before going into that, just make sure that the amount is disclosed in lakhs here. So please ensure that whatever the figures are updated here is purely in terms of the lakhs. Coming to point number 5, sales and purchases made during the year. Here you are required to disclose in terms of, once again, in lakhs only the figures, and if at all the company is having any kind of the domestic sales or sales which is exported, let it be in terms of the goods or say services, the same has to be disclosed. Domestic purchases, imports, etc., the same needs to be disclosed. One new option which has come this time in terms of FLA reporting is that that is a requirement to disclose the total number of the employees. You can see in my screen that it is asking for the total number of the employees of the Indian company. So please extract the necessary information of number of employees as on 31st March 18 and 31st March 19, and the same may be reported in the column 6.1. Okay, before you go to section 3, please save this section once again. Section number 2, similar to the section number 1, just save the draft and move, validate, and move to the next section. Next is section number 3. In section number 3, it is about foreign liabilities, investments made in India. In this section, you are going to discuss about the foreign direct investment. If in an Indian company which is being reporting, if there is an investment of more than 10% in terms of equity participation, the same needs to be disclosed here. Please note that here the disclosures has to be in terms of the investor wise. So number of foreign direct investors as on end of March 31st March 19 has to be disclosed if it is being filed for 18-19. Month and year, this is a new option which has come where you need to disclose the first time when the investment has actually come for this company. This option was not there earlier, however this is something which has newly been inserted. Even if you have multiple investments received, still the first investment when it has come, that needs to be disclosed. The first receipt of FDI, please update the necessary details as per the name of the non-resident company or individual, as the case may be, based on your shareholding pattern, the country of the investments, whether they belong to which country, and here this column is about the current FLA. So let's assume this is for 18-19 and this is for prior period 17-18. This is just for the purpose of understanding. If you have additional options, you can just add the necessary buttons and you can fill up the information. Here you will be again updating the liabilities to the direct. You can just see that these columns are auto calculated, so you need to just go and manually update the fields only which is it is allowing you manually to do so. Liabilities to the direct investors, anything which the Indian company is required to pay to the foreign investors, and claims on the direct investors, that is a reverse investment. It means that if there are anything which the Indian company is supposed to get from the from the investors in return, that will be a kind of a receivables in terms of understanding, in simple understanding. Other capital will be something which is other than the equity capital, and the information has to be similar to that, has to be provided. We suggest you to please refer to the FAQs, as there are various information which has been provided in the FAQs category, and that will be helpful for you in terms of understanding the process. Okay, next is the disinvestments. If there are any company has made any, how the company makes an investment, similarly if it has taken out any investments during the year, the same needs to be reported. Please note that all this information has to be for as on 31st March 18 and 31st March 19. The second is that in case if we have any kind of the investments FDI which has been received where the percentage shareholding of the investor is less than 10%, the same needs to be disclosed here. Next is to be direct investment. If the company is having any kind of the investment which it has made other than FDI, then the same needs to be disclosed under this category. And this is once again for the previous rounds as well as for the current rounds. This is once again similar to that, where if you have any equity capital, the same needs to be disclosed based on that respective category for the direct investment. Please refer to the direct investment and related matters on the FAQs issued by RBI for the purpose of more clarity. I would request you to just hold on for a minute, as my battery is expiring. Sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, so the next is portfolio investments. Portfolio investments will be about, in case if this is the information which is about details of any kind of outstanding investment by non-resident investors, and here the information what you would be disclosing will be other than that of from FDI, which has already been disclosed in the earlier paragraphs, and also about the direct investment made by the companies. The information will be more from the percentage perspective only. Please note that here the information equity securities and debt securities and money market instruments has been specified. This paragraph is all about the portfolio investment, hence you need to disclose from the portfolio investment perspective and not from the FDI perspective, which has already been disclosed. Money market instruments will be something which is kind of an instrument which has got a maturity up to 1 year, and also about any such other instruments which are more than 1 year are categorized under bonds and other instruments, and the same information, if any, has to be disclosed under these categories. Next is other investments, outstanding liabilities, foreign unrelated parties. Please note that if the company has got any kind of such unrelated parties investments in form of any kind of the trade credit or loans are given, or any kind of the receivables are there or payables are there, such kind of the information has to be disclosed for the purpose of as on 31st March 18 and 19, and again the amount has to be disclosed for 2 years in terms of INR lakhs. Please validate the section before proceeding further. Section 4 is all about overseas direct investment. If the company has made any kind of the investment abroad, in that situation you need to fill up these information, where any kind of the direct investment abroad needs to be disclosed, and the total number of the direct investment where you have made the information as on March 19 has to be informed, and also you need to disclose about the first time when the company has made any for overseas direct investment, so you can consolidate the necessary information based on the nature of investments of your respective companies. Again, 1B ODI is all about details of whether there is any non-resident individual to which the information has to be provided. I think the system is a bit hanged. My apologies. The system is a bit hanged and I need to move to the next screen. Okay. Okay, so similarly you'll be coming to the final FLA section, and in the last section, FLA section, the information will be auto populated based on the inputs what has already been provided in the earlier sections, and that same information will be appearing, and you need to just verify the inputs before submitting. You'll be having all the radio buttons on the right side where you need to select on them before submitting. Once you submit the once you are ready with all this information, okay, once you are done with the information, then you need to just go ahead and submit. Before you submit the option, at that time you will be getting an option whether you would like to confirm submitting FLA return. Just click on that as yes. And now the thing is, you won't be having any kind of the emails, and it will automatically give you a preview option. You can download and save it as a PDF, and as soon as you submit it, you will have an option of downloading the acknowledgement. As soon as the acknowledgement is generated, you can just save that acknowledgement with you, and you should be able to complete the affiliate return accordingly. And there will be no separate email from RBI in this context, and only thing will be is that of acknowledgement, which will be auto generated immediately submit on affiliate return. So this comes to an end of filing of a affiliate return submission online, and we hope you like our video on this, and if you really like, please do like and subscribe to our channel, and we will try to give more and more valuable updates to you. Even if you do not like the video for any reasons, please dislike and leave your comment, because it's all your comment and your suggestions matters the most. So we look forward for your cooperation and support in this matter. So thank you so much for sharing your time with us and going through the video, and please do subscribe our channel, and thank you so much. This is Mr. X signing off. Have a great day. See you soon.